Boys, welcome back to episode 4 of the People's Guild interviews. Today I have the magnificent Flopsy with me. How you doing, Flopsy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am phenomenal. Uh,
Awesome.
Flopsy is a member of the People's Guild, the greatest free-to-play guild of all time. And if you want to know more about the People's Guild, card in the top right, you can find out a little bit more about what kind of experiment we have going on. And if you want to join in, instructions are in that video as well. But with all that being said, Flopsy, we've got your roster in front of us. Walk us through what you've been doing so far as the roster goes.
Well, as you can see, I'm not 85 yet, so I'm still in kind of the building mode here. So almost all of my energy is going towards shards at this point. I'm very rarely trying to go for any gear. I'm just trying to get these guys 7 stars, try to get them up, and then as I get closer to 85 and start completing some of these teams, I'm gonna be switching over to gear a little bit more.
Yeah. What
So on
what characters are
yeah,
you working on starring at the moment?
so my main team is Imp Troopers. The only kind of switch I have is my leader is Aiden right now. Just because Aiden's leader is better in all respects to Veer's until Veer's hits 80.
And gets his
So
Zeta.
yeah, because if you look at the two, it's not even close.
Yep.
Um,
I've tried to
so
tell people this many times, and people just want to argue with me on it still.
yeah.
But yeah, until you hit level 80, Aiden is a better leader.
Yeah, so I've got the standard imps with Aiden. I'm also trying to get up, because Piet's a little bit later in the. I think he's off a 6.
I think he's 8 actually, right? Isn't he?
Yeah, so he's a little bit later. So he's a little. He's still 5 stars. He hasn't quite caught up to the other guys yet. So I'm not running Piet. So I run Veers as a non-main, as a non-leader right now, just because I like his AOE ability. So that's kind of what I'm running as my main dark side and kind of main troop that I use in squad and every place I can, because they're by far the most along of any. On my light side, I'm getting Phoenix up. Obviously, Rex isn't accelerated, so he's at a 4-star. But almost all the rest are either 6 or 7. There, I also have the Geos. Today was a big day for me because I hit 78 yesterday, and I've been going from 60 to 78, trying to get my ship swarms up, so I could be in the spot to start getting Zetas. And 78 was yesterday. Today was the first day at Zetas, and I 3-starred that one, so I'm super happy. But to do that, I had to get the Geonosins up to 7 stars, so you see them at 7 stars. And obviously Tarkin's 7 stars there, so that's kind of where I'm going. And then I also have some bounty hunters that I'm trying to work on. I've got Cad Bane and Boba Fett up to 7, Mandalorians at 6. So that's kind of where I'm going.
Okay. Nice. So,
and I also hit Darth Vader 7 yesterday too. So today have been a really good day. It's been a good weekend for me.
nice. So as far as long-term farming plans, it looks like we're kind of going towards Executor at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm relatively new at this game. I played way back in 2016, so I'm essentially new at this game. So I'm trying to do kind of a standard leveling path that you see called out. Arnold does it as well as Nooch Too Good. They both call out similar kind of farming paths. I'm trying to follow along there. I'm not trying to deviate too much from
Yeah.
kind of what's the accepted.
Yeah, generally I think so far, at least from what I see on your roster, it's a pretty standard farming path. Light
Yeah.
side going for the Phoenix, dark side going for troopers, and then getting your geos for your ships. So all 3 of those, I don't think anyone's going to argue with, are pretty good steps for early game. As far as later term, though, is Executor, and do you have any other goals or teams that you're going to want to pick up along the way?
I'm still in the learning phase of this game. I've been doing this for a little more than 2 months, I think now.
Okay.
The first month or 2 of this game is just there's so much going on. You don't know what the heck's going on. You're trying to watch as many videos as you can, try to understand what the hell is going on here? So, like, I'm just now getting over that point where I'm starting to understand mods and understand teams and understand how this all works. So I haven't put a lot of planning into beyond these first teams. So, I'm always open to advice on what you are. The first what I've heard is Executor is a great place to start, so that's where I'm kind of headed. Obviously, I haven't reliced any of these things or anything like that, so it's going to be a long ways, but that's kind of the goal. But I'm always open to see what's best for the guild and adjust from there.
Yeah. Have you picked up any farms, or are you doing anything specifically because of like what the guild needs or anything like that? Any territory?
Well, I know the Geonosins are kind of what we're headed towards next. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And I'm also, there's a lot of different goals we have going. So yeah, Geos is definitely one of them.
So I learned out recently that you can't even start Brood Alpha until you're 83, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, he's on the
so
last.
I've started getting Poggle up, and then when I hit 83, I'll get Brood Alpha and get those guys up and going. And then on the Hoth side, I've started to do a little bit with like the Snow Trooper and the Hoth Rebel, but I haven't really gotten into that too much. I basically have no more energy to do anything right now because I'm trying to farm so many things right now.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. And the nice thing about both the Hoth Rebel Soldier mission, I think is the one for Rolo, and then the I think it's just Imperial Troopers. I don't even think you have to have Snow Trooper to get IPD, but I know Snow Trooper is required for a different special mission. Is that you can use pretty much any other characters with them, and so you don't actually have to gear up Hoth Rebel Soldier or Snow Trooper as long as the other 4 characters you throw with them can carry you through the mission.
That's a good call out there. Yeah.
So
I think I did that last time with the Hoth Rebel Trooper. I think I dropped in him with 4 other guys and was able to do some of it at least.
Yeah. I think for the Rolo mission, I've been throwing in my CLS team and just dropping R2 off the team. Since I don't have C-3PO yet, I'm running R2. And so just dropping him off the team and letting the other 4 run through the mission, and it's no problem.
Yeah. And you let me know what we should be farming. I'll try to add it on to my group. Because like for right now, I'm farming the Queel node because I've heard the TIE Bomber is a hard one that you need to get. So I've been working on the Queel node. I've been working on some of the other ones that kind of just give you supplemental stuff that I've heard is just good farm.
Yeah.
So I'm always up to readjusting.
Yeah, so it looks like you're progressing towards Executor pretty well. Keep in mind, for Executor, you do have to get Beskar Armor Mando because you need his ship in order to unlock Executor. So you will need to go get not just Quill, but IG-11, Grief, Karga, and Cara Dune.
Yeah, you can see. So Mandalorian I've done, and Grief, he's 4-star for me, almost 5-star. So I've been working on him. It's the Cara Dune that I have not put any time to, and I'll probably have to catch her up with some refreshes at some point.
Not necessarily, because you also have to keep in mind that you can still be working on starring a character while you're working on gearing the rest of the characters. So
for sure.
Now, if you have all of your Executor requirements done, Boba up to R8, your Piet up to R8, Relic 8, and all your other characters Relic, and you're only waiting on Bam and getting Cara Dune, then spend some crystals and do it. But I don't see any reason to waste crystals if you don't have to. What about bounty hunter ships? Because I don't see any bounty hunter ships on your roster currently.
Yeah, bounty hunter ships are hard for me. I'm right now my ships, my fleet battles, I'm working on getting through 4 normal.
Okay.
So I've been working on Slave 1. It's got some shards there.
But Xanadu Blood, IG-2000, and Houndstooth are all normal energy, not fleet energy.
Yeah. And the question is, when do I start working on those, right? Because I'm still trying to get Imps up to 7. I'm still trying to get Phoenixes up to 7. Where do I prioritize that in my energy farm? Obviously I'm doing 3 refreshes of normal energy.
Yeah.
And since we're free to play, you don't really have much after that. Maybe you can get one Cantina refresh or something like that. But
Yeah.
I guess the question is, when do
Well,
I do that?
so the nice thing is that since you're under level 85 right now, you don't have Grand Arena income for crystals. So you're working on a lower budget than you will be once you hit 85. Because like minimum you'll be getting like an extra 100 a day or something. I think is what it is. Or maybe
I
it's
think
an
I
extra
can get
50 a
maybe
day.
114 or 150, something like that. 160 maybe, I think. I
Um,
can do the free refreshes and get a little bit extra.
Yeah, and then also, it's an average because the daily activities has like a range that it can give you. It
Oh,
can,
does it?
yeah, once I don't know if there's a certain amount it gives you before 85, but after it can be like 10 to like 200 crystals or something. But it's
okay,
usually
interesting.
10.
Yeah.
But for your roster right now, it looks like Iden's going to be finished up kind of soon. Same with Veers, same with Dark Trooper, even Range Trooper. Looks like you're finishing those up. So you'll have slots for more hard nodes once you finish those. Obviously, the next priority gets moved up. The thing I always say with ships, and especially with the bounty hunter ships, is keep in mind, ships drop 1 shard at a time, characters drop 2 shards at a time.
Yeah.
So it'll take twice as long to 7-star a ship as it will a character. And so the earlier you can start those ships, the better. So specifically, it'll probably take roughly 6 months to 7-star a ship, whereas it takes roughly 3 months to 7-star a character without refreshing the node.
Yeah, and you can see I relatively recently, I believe I relatively recently started working on the Houndstooth. So it's starting to get some. Obviously, I haven't worked on Boss because he's like a level 9 dark side or something like that. But
Houndstooth is the best ship in the game.
That's what I keep hearing.
And I've
never actually used it, but I assume you guys are all right.
I still think it's true to this day. Obviously, in certain fleets, other ships will get more value, but basically every time you attack Houndstooth, it recovers protection and gets protection up, and it is without specific ships that can do a ton of damage or throwing buff immunity on them, you can't get through them basically. And so it's a tank that just never dies, which is amazing, and can regain taunt really easily. So Houndstooth is #1 ship priority for you. Xanadu Blood and IG 2000 aren't as good without the rest of their fleet in place.
Gotcha. So the full fleet for that would be the Houndstooth and Razor Crest, Slave 1, IG 2000, and Xanadu Blood. Is that
correct?
Full fleet there?
Yep. Those 5 ships. That's your whole Executor fleet. You don't need anything else. And eventually, I'm sure they'll add some other ones. Punishing one is Dengar's ship. I'm sure that'll get added at some point. But I don't really think Executor needs a buff at the moment. So we'll see. Well, I want to end off by asking you, since you're new to the game and kind of working through this the first time, as at least your first time getting this far into the game, what's something
this version of the game?
What's something you've learned that you wish you had done differently when you first started, or that you would tell kind of a player that is just starting off to make sure that they do?
I would say that the community has great resources if you can find it. Like, so your videos, the other people that are making out videos are all doing really good stuff if you can find it. Coming in like fresh, like the game itself doesn't give you a whole lot, especially because I have another account that is paid. So when I the hyperspeed happens, then everything's like all hell breaks loose, and the game doesn't give you anything. So even like as a free to play player still working up, like there's no real tutorial or telling you anything, and if they do, a lot of times, like for example mods, like the things they're telling you are wrong. So you got to do your own work. So I guess that would be my biggest suggestion is you got to do your own work. And the game is awesome, and I really enjoy it if you can put the time in to like figure out what the hell is going on, because it's not going to tell you itself.
Yeah, and I've looked at your mods. You seem to be doing a pretty good job as far as what you're doing with them. So I think you've done a good job to find the resources that you need and learn how to utilize the resources that you have. Obviously, you can't do a ton of modding prior to.
Yeah, I gotta work on getting slicing mods, but you can't get slicing mods until 80 something, maybe 85. To open up the mods for slicing stuff.
Slicing becomes a lot more important later in the game.
Yeah.
For now, as far as, and I'll have a guide coming out on mods very soon.
Nice.
So be looking forward to that. But in the early game, a lot of those gray mods, it's more credits to level it up to level 12 and to check the stats than it's really worth. So a lot of times I find myself selling gray mods, especially if the primary isn't good. But we'll go through that more in depth in a future video.
Cool. Can't wait.
Flopsy, do you have any closing words for the people?
No, I'm super stoked. I found an awesome free-to-play guild because, like I said, I wanted to do one free-to-play and one paid. And so finding one that emphasizes free-to-play and doesn't like look down on you has been just an awesome experience. So I really want to thank you guys for setting this up and kind of holding everybody accountable to the free-to-play style that we're doing here. And it's been a fun ride so far, and hope to be doing this for a long time since.
Yeah. Well, we got a long process in front of us to be able to clear
Yes,
everything.
we do.
So, well, I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, take care, and peace.